ladies, so it's Mickey. It is September the 14th. It's a Thursday, and I figured I'd do a update for those of you who don't follow me on Facebook. I know it's not fair that people on Facebook do get more status updates, but you know, it just gets really frustrating going and making a vlog and being like, oh, nothing's going on, you know. So, took a short little break from YouTube, I guess. So, as of today, I still don't have AF. It has been 14 days since my last pill of Provera. And you have to excuse me because I have to make a turn. Yeah, 14 days since my last pill of Provera. And still no AF. The longest AF has ever taken after Provera is 9 days. And before that, it was 7 days. So, let's just say last night was not a good night. I thought it had only been like 10 to 11 days since AF, or since my Provera. And then I realized that the chart on Fertility Friend was only showing from the day that I had last updated. So then I updated it yesterday, and then that's when it showed the other days, and I counted, and it was 14. And when I saw that, I just started crying. It was partially because I was just tired, and then seeing that didn't help things, and I just started crying because I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to start TTCing again, you know? So, yesterday was not a good day, or last night was not a good night, we'll just put it that way, because that's when I noticed it. So, yeah, I'm okay now. I called my RE this morning as soon as they opened. I think I called like at 9:02, and they answered, and I talked to the nurse, and I told her, and she left him a note in my chart, and he called me back like 30 minutes later, and he's like, okay, what's going on? And I was like, well, I just, you know, it's been 2 weeks now since my last pill, and I haven't started my period yet. And I just don't know what I'm supposed to do or how long I'm supposed to wait. And he's like, okay. It's like, so what could be going on is, you know, maybe your lining is too small, too thin to have a period. So that could be it. He's like, but I want to see you next week. So I scheduled an appointment for Wednesday of next week because he's not in on Monday or Tuesday. So I'll be going in on Wednesday at 11:02 for a transvaginal scan, and trying to see what could be going on. And, you know, just thinking about it, yeah, my lining could be thin, but like this last cycle, like my lining was perfect, and the cycle before, my lining wasn't as thick, but it was still pretty thick. So I don't know what to think. Also, I'm thinking maybe it's a cyst, because I have been feeling some pains on my left ovary. So that's my other thought, is maybe it's just a cyst. I don't know. So there's no way to find out until, you know, go get the scan done. But in any case, you know, I'm ready to get started, and I'm tired of waiting, and I'm tired of waiting for AF. So yeah. Other than that, I've been really, really busy. Last weekend we went to DC, and we had a great time. We were only there for 1 day, and we left Virginia. It was Saturday morning, and my cousin finished the run, the 185 for Heroes run, at he partially finished at 12:30, and then he realized, you know, he's not supposed to finish, like, do the finish line thing until 4:30, so he finished about 4 hours early. And he called me. He's like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey, you're calling me." He's like, "Well, yeah." He had been finishing all the races, all the runs at like 4 or 5 o'clock. And he was like, "Well, I was worried because, you know, this time I had a deadline, so I wanted to make sure I got there on time." He's like, "And I guess I pushed myself too much or something." So that was cool, you know, sitting there talking on the phone with him. He was just chilling. It was a beautiful day. And I don't know how he did it, because before this run, he was not a runner, like, at all. Yes, he's in the Army, but where he's stationed, they do PT on their own. They don't get together like my husband does. So it's just on them. And they only, for PT tests, they don't run that far of a distance. I believe, I want to say they run maybe 2-3 miles, if even that. So going from that, you know, running a few miles to running a marathon a day, which is 26 miles a day for 7 days, is incredible. So needless to say, I was very inspired by my little cousin on what he was able to accomplish. And through that, and some articles that were written about him, they were able to raise $10,000, over $10,000 for Operation Second Chance, which is a phenomenal charity that helps wounded soldiers. So that's amazing. For those of you who donated to the cause, you know, to the run, I thank you very, very, very much. I did get to meet some of the wounded soldiers that were there, and hearing their stories was just incredible. Each day was dedicated to a certain person and stuff, and they ran with the flag, and they presented each person with a flag and a little plaque. So that was really cool. Going back to my cousin, it was phenomenal that he finished this run. Check this out. He finished running 185 miles in 7 days and came out of it with a teeny tiny little blister. That was his only injury. It was a tiny blister on the top of his toe. So it wasn't even on the bottom of his foot, it was like on the top. How crazy is that, you know? It was incredible. And afterwards, like, you know, when I was talking to him, I was like, "So, how do you feel? You know, are you tired? Do you want to go home?" And he's like, "No!" He's like, "I think I trained too hard," because he's like, "I feel fine." He's like, "Yeah, I'm just a tiny bit sore, but I feel fine." And that night, we didn't get back to his house till like 12:30 at night. They have a tradition where the co-founders, and one of which is in Afghanistan right now, he's deployed, where they go out and celebrate with the runners and the support crew. And yeah, we did that, and we went to the bar and did a toast to them, and did a toast to you know, everyone deployed, and those who have given up their lives, and those who have been wounded. So that was really cool. The people the founders, my cousin is actually friends with 2 of them, with two of the co-founders, 2 of the 3. And I'm just so happy that my little cousin surrounds himself with people like that. They are incredible people. They are so nice. They're just great. And my little cousin can be sort of somewhat of a loner, just because of the way he grew up, and you know, yeah, he can just be somewhat of a loner, and because he lives so far away from home. And I guess part of the reason why we're so close is because we both live so far from home, and we are close together, close enough And, you know, I know parts of what he goes through, you know, being in the military and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm just so glad that he surrounds himself with people like that, because, yeah, it just made me so happy. So, yeah, he finished this run, and it was great. Unfortunately, I didn't get any pictures of him crossing the finish line, because I want to say 5 to 10 minutes before he was supposed to cross the finish line, all of a sudden these clouds, it went from beautiful weather to these clouds roaring in. Literally, this gust of wind came through and almost knocked me down. As you can tell, I'm not a light girl, so it's hard for me to get knocked down by a gust of wind, but this really almost took me down. And like the dust and the dirt that was being swept across my face was crazy. And I made it right into the building right before the downpour. Unfortunately, my cousin didn't. And he and the Georgetown University Running Club that met him that last day to run the last 3 or 4 miles with him, they came in all drenched. Everybody was sort of setting up in the auditorium, and I was in the hallway waiting for my husband to come into the building, because he went to the car to get an umbrella. And my little cousin just walks in, and nobody really recognized him, because I guess they didn't know him in person. And I looked at him, I was like, hey! And he's like, hey, what's up? So that was his, you know, yay, finish line moment. And I gave him a huge hug. He's like, I don't want to get you wet. I was like, I don't care, get me wet. So we hugged for a long time. I think that's the longest hug I've ever given him. So that was really cool. And I know a lot of my family really wish they could be that wet. It just wasn't possible. But it was great. So yeah, if you want to see that, I will try to post the link to the ceremony itself below. I did film. The ceremony itself was about 50 minutes long. I cut it down to 30, but the stuff that I did live in there was, I think, important. You know, like introducing the support team, introducing my cousin. He spoke. Also introducing 3 of the 7 people they dedicated runs to. Also, one of them spoke and talked about how he was injured, and how he got through being wounded. So that was a very inspiring story. So I left that in there. They had a baton passing the baton to the people that will be doing the run next year. And yeah, that's pretty much what I left in there. So if you want to watch it, you're more than welcome to. And just to know, they take donations any time of the year. It didn't have to just be during this time. So if you feel like you want to contribute for next year's run, then, you know, go to 185forheroes.org and just make a donation in there. That'll be great, because, you know, this war is going on, and sadly there's a lot of soldiers that have been wounded and, you know, could use the help. So yeah, I think that's it for me. I will be doing some non-TTC related videos soon, like the, what is it called? Things This Week, I think is what it's called. Lisa started it, and yeah, I watched some of those videos of it, and I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm behind, but that's okay. Alright, I will talk to y'all ladies later. I will let y'all also know how next week goes. Alright, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.